What's up, guys? Welcome to the show today. We're going to be going over some draft losers. Earlier this week, we did winners from the NFL draft. Now I'm going to do some losers, some guys that lost value with guys coming into their situations. If you have a second, please hit subscribe and like the video. Everything helps, and I really appreciate it. But let's get into this today. Some guys that are losers post-draft in my eyes. So first guy here, we're going to do Evan Engram. Now, the reason I'm saying this, I just think this offseason in general, what was so valuable about Evan Engram last year was how many targets he was force-fed. Christian Kirk missed some time. Ridley was okay, but they didn't really have anyone else there when Kirk went down. And now look at this offseason. Kirk's going to be back healthy. Brian Thomas Jr. coming in. Gabe Davis coming in. I'm not super afraid of him being like a fantasy weapon, but he is an upgrade on Zay Jones. So I just think in general, the pass catching options there in Jacksonville are better. So I think Ingram's upside is kind of just a lot lower than it was last year. So I'm going to have him here as a post-draft loser. Next guy here, Javonte Williams. I mean, I still think he has a chance. I still think he's the most valuable running back in that backfield, but estimate coming in definitely worries me a little bit just because he has some upside and he kind of clashes a bit with Javonte's skill set. And then I do think Jaleel McLaughlin's still going to be involved. So I just think that room is looking a little more cluttered than I would like it to if I was trying to bet on Williams being an absolute fantasy stud. We're kind of that top 10 back that we all kind of thought he might be a couple years back before that injury. So I just don't love what's happened for Williams so far. And I don't think I would be buying unless I'm getting a pretty good deal here. So next one, DJ Moore and Keenan Allen. Not saying that they're going to be bad, but I just am trying to point out that I think Adunze being there is going to make this three-headed thing a little weirder than people want. I mean, DJ Moore was like a top 10 guy last year. Keenan Allen, a top 10 guy. And so if you're expecting that again out of either of these guys, I just think you're going to be disappointed. Now, if you want to be able to just start these guys on a week-to-week basis, I think that's totally realistic. But as much as I think Caleb Williams is going to succeed in the NFL, I do not think he's going to be able to support three wide receivers, Cole Kmet and DeAndre Swift. And so I just think that offense might be a little confusing, a little frustrating this season. So I'm going to have these guys as losers, even though I do think moving forward, I think they're going to be fine assets, but I do think they lost some of their top five upside with Adunze and Swift coming in this offseason, etc. Next one here, these last two are going to be just a little more obvious. James Conner, right? Trey Benson coming in. I think Trey Benson could take over mid-season for James Conner. Now, maybe Conner finishes the year out as the starter and it's Benson who takes over next year, but it's a little risky. And so I just think as much as James Conner has dominated that backfield over the last couple of years, I don't really think that's going to be this case this year with Marvin Harrison, Trey McBride, and now Trey Benson too. Like, those are three young weapons that Kyler's going to be using. And I just don't know if it's going to be the target share and just the volume that Connor's been depending on to get to his top 20 backs the last couple of years. I don't know if you can count on that anymore. And then the last one, the most obvious one of all, Michael Mayer. I just think he got absolutely crushed. I think this guy had a chance going into this year, but Brock Bowers going there, just like a 99% prospect. Like, this guy is going to be a stud. And Michael Mayer just absolutely crushed. Unless he changes teams, I think it's time to just kind of give up on Michael Mayer doing anything. Sometimes this happens, and it's just really unfortunate to the player. But when it comes down to it, Brock Bowers is going to be the tight end there. And I definitely wouldn't wait around thinking Mayer is going to develop and beat out Bowers. If someone wants Mayer off your team and they're offering a late second or something, I think you just take it and run because I don't really have that much expectations for him. But thank you guys for tuning in. Super fast video. Wanted to do some draft losers for you. Some guys that have on your team. Maybe you'll look into moving them if you're getting offers and it's the right kind of deal. But thanks for tuning in. Please hit subscribe and have a good weekend, guys.